Welcome. So
Howdy.
I like to start this. I used to be a teacher, so we're gonna do this like school style. Can you introduce
My
yourself
favorite.
with your
Yeah.
name, pronouns, the role you're playing?
Hi, everyone. My name is Conor Sheehan. My pronouns are he, him, his, it, if you want. I don't really care. No, and I am playing Fred in the production of Oliver and Isaac.
Fred. Awesome. So what was intriguing to you about being involved in the production of Oliver and Isaac?
I auditioned for Queer Colors Theater a few months back, and just really got a great vibe from Shawn, and just I have a very sweet spot for people who, um, are creating original content and like meaningful and personal and vulnerable, and especially in the climate we're in now,
Yes.
social, political, etc. But also, just these stories always are relevant, and that just like the increase of them being told is a very important movement. And I'm the utmost like advocate ally in the LGBTQIA um, society, and I just yeah. So just the mix of all those factors, the fact that it's an original, personal, vulnerable piece, along with the LGBTQIA commentary within it, is just it was just something. It seemed like a very meaningful experience. So, and it has been, and
Ooh,
yeah, I'm very happy to be a part of it.
awesome. So let's talk your character. Can you
Yeah.
describe your character in 3 words? I know it's like game
I
show
used up all my
time.
words in that last bit. Let's see. Uh, I'll go well-meaning, hyphenate. Um, uh, Bashful and trustworthy.
I like that. I like it. Um, so you said you're only in one scene. So without spoilers,
Correct.
can
Okay.
can you kind of describe the scene you're in?
Yeah, without being Tom Holland in the Marvel universe. So the scene that I'm in, he's basically being introduced to the main characters in this new way. He knows some of them, and he tells a little bit about himself, and um, basically is involved in a bit of a an awkward, spontaneous moment, and
Oh,
yeah,
ooh.
basically gets a crash course of all of the factors of the play in yeah, in one brief
Yeah,
intertwining, yeah,
awesome.
of
Okay.
stuff.
That's ooh, I'm so excited to watch this.
Thank you.
So so did you have any sort of process, like where did you begin the rehearsals versus like where you are now with the scene? Have you changed how you view it at all through direction and
Definitely.
whatnot?
Well, because at first, my rehearsal times were fairly staggered, so I had more time away from the
Mm.
rehearsal schedule than other people in the cast. Um, so kind of a perk of that is that every time coming back to it, you know, um, there's new little discoveries that I make, like in the next run. Like now that I, had time to marinate on just, on who Fred is, how he fits into the story, what his demeanor is around, certain characters, um, rather than other characters, and just yeah, and for me personally, that always is helpful, like having time away, so that when I come back to the material, there's things that I see with a newer perspective. um
Awesome.
yeah.
Yeah. Since this is Zoom theater, Is this your first Zoom production, or have you done other productions over
Now,
the course of the pandemic?
definitely a variety of different experiences, but uh, this has been the most unique in that, um, just because I reached a point, last year when it was a constant medium, that like
Yeah.
it was, having that many hours while staring at a computer screen can be, you can feel as much as you love it, you feel burned out. So having this time in between and to really, um, to be able to have it where I can, still be a part of this experience, be a part of a meaningful scene in a very meaningful show, but also have time to like still, go outside and like have these other things to occupy my time. And especially in this era of like retransitioning and getting back to a state of normalcy, like I've really enjoyed this, this scheduling, like this itinerary personally.
Good. Yeah. That's that's the good thing about Zoom theater is like, well, we can be from wherever we are and
Mm-hmm.
kind of connect over
Am
it.
I wearing pants right now? I'm not.
I
I'm wearing
hope
shorts,
so.
but like, yeah, no. This is a serious discussion
It
about
doesn't have to be that serious. Well, a little bit,
fictional
but
circumstances. Yeah.
um, so you did mention being an ally and allyship. So um, can you talk a little more about that?
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Some of my closest friends in the world are LGBTQIA, and I've learned so much from them, and I've really had just my aperture widened through having people that have different ways of loving someone, other than
Yeah.
myself, and like I just uh, just seeing all the different angles of humanity through getting to know um, people in that society has been one of the joys of my life, and it's just because at the end of the day, people are people, and it's and people deserve to live the way they want to if it's promoting their happiness and their stability and their security. And yeah, and so I'll never not be a part of the movement because even in 2021 there's still so much to you know to rebel against,
Yeah.
and so yeah, it's a very meaningful subject to me. And yeah, the fact that I'm able to see it firsthand through those people in my life is really yeah, it's really special.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. And
Thank you.
doing theater, doing queer theater like this, I think is all the more important to have all hands on deck too, to
Totally.
yeah. Um, yeah. So last question.
Yeah.
Um, from your
Sure.
perspective as an ally, what does queer theater mean to you then?
um
I know I'm hitting with all the
no,
hard
no, no,
questions.
honestly, it's giving a much deserved, you know soapbox to a voice that needs to be heard and embraced and absorbed, and um like being able to have a place in a story that you don't know who could be struggling with their own identity, and through seeing a show like this can feel liberated, that their story is just as justified, and just as and also for someone who is in the is in the performing arts, is in the theatrical world, and is curious if their story should be sent out, should be distributed, and this could inspire them to you know to to do that themselves. So yeah, just to be any component in that is very gratifying, and is just yeah, something I hold very significantly. And
Oh,
yeah.
yeah, good answer. Well, do you have anything else you want to say or?
See Oliver and Isaac. You'll see a lot of elements. It's got comedic, dramatic, romantic, the whole Neapolitan, if it were ice cream. And yeah, please support queer theater and all of the wondrousness that comes along with it. And
Hmm.
yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah, awesome. No, thank you for joining me. It's been a pleasure to talk.